All right, let's start off on number 1 here. So for this one, we first want to start off with the nth terms. That's always the explicit formula. So I'm going to use a sub n equals, and since I know this is geometric and I already know what a1 is, I'm going to say a sub 1 times r to the power of n minus 1. So I know my a sub 1 is 8, and then for r, I can do any term divided by the number, by the term in front of it. So I'm going to do negative 20 divided by 8. And so that'll be a negative 2.5. So that'll be times negative 2.5 to the power of n minus 1. So that would go in my first box there. And then for the next part, which is what's a sub 5, I would just plug in a 5 here, and I would type it in the calculator. And I would actually just plug that in as a 4, since I would just do that 5 minus 1 in my head. And so that would just come out to 312.5. So you can put that there. And then same thing for the a sub 8. All right, next up here, number 2. So for this one, we want to find the nth term again. So once again, I'm going to use that geometric sequence. So I know a1 is 1, and then I know r I can get by dividing any term by the term in front of it. So that's going to be negative x over 6. And so I'm going to say a sub n equals 1 times r to the power of n minus 1. And I would actually just write that as negative x over 6 to the power of n minus 1, since that multiplying 1 does not really matter there. I think it would be still correct if you put it there, but I wouldn't. All right, so then next up, if it wants a sub 5, I'm just going to plug in a 5 here. So negative x over 6 to the power of, actually this is going to be 4, since we do the 5 minus 1. And I know that if I have a negative x to the power of 4, it's going to make a positive x to the 4th. And then on bottom here, I just have 6 to the power of 4. It's going to be 1, 2, 9, 6. And then for a sub 8, same idea, just negative x over 6 to the power of 7 now, since it's 8 minus 1. Now this one is going to keep the x negative, but raise it to the 7th power. And then I just need 6 to the 7th power on the calculator, 2, 7, 9, 9, 3, 6. All right, next up here, number 3. So for this one, they give us 2 terms. We need to do a geometric sequence. I think what I would do here is I would just kind of list out a sub 3, a sub 4, a sub 5, and a sub 6. And I would just fill in what I know. And since it's geometric, I would think, what do I need to multiply by to get from here to here in kind of 3 steps? So I would just try out a number, maybe times 3 here, and see if it works. And so that would give me 18 here, and then 18 times 3 would give me 54. And obviously I can see that that's too big, so that times 3 did not work. So I'm going to try it again here. And since that was too big, I'm going to drop it down to 2. Let's try times 2. Would be 12, and then 24, and so that does work. So that means my r is 2. And so I would say a sub n equals, I don't know a1 yet though. But you know what I can do? I can just kind of backtrack here. So if I divide by 2, it would have to be 3, and then 3 over 2. So 3 over 2 times 2 to the power of n minus 1. All right, next up here, we're needing to write this in sigma notation. So I'm going to need an explicit formula in here that kind of describes this sequence. And so I see that this is geometric. I do see that the pattern here is times 6. And you see that every time it's times 6, so that means r is 6. I also see here that by definition, this needs to be a sub 1 because it says we're starting off with the first term. So I'm going to say that a sub 1 is 6 as well. And so I'm going to say a sub n equals 6 times 6 to the power of n minus 1. So that's going to go here. Next up, what I see is that I need the number up top, so that's how, what term is the last term. I can actually just count this, so that's a sub 2, a sub 3, a sub 4, a sub 5, 6, and 7. So I would just count those out in this case. All right, same idea here. So I would say on this one, I can already tell that we're starting at a sub 1, and so this last one must be a sub 4. So I'll go and put that 4 in. And then I need to figure out what r is. So r is any term divided by the term in front of it. So I'll go ahead and do the first 2 terms here. In this case, I'm going to multiply by their reciprocal by 5 over 1. And so I get negative 1 over 4 when I reduce that. So that's my r value. And I know a1 is 1/5, so I could just say that this is going to be 1/5 times negative 1/4 to the power of n minus 1, since we're starting with a1. All right, this one's asking us for the infinite sum here, infinite geometric series. So the formula for that one is a1 over 1 minus r, but only if r is between -1 and 1. If r is not in between -1 and 1, if it's anywhere out here or out there, that's going to be when it does not exist, when your r values are outside of that kind of range from -1 to 1. So let me check this one out. So I'm going to say r is any term divided by the term in front of it. And so let me just do that on the calculator. I think it's, what is that going to be? It's like 0.01 or something. I'm just going to make sure. All right, so that comes out to 0.01. And so that r certainly does fit in there. And so I can use my formula here. The infinite sum is the first term divided by 1 minus r, which will be 0.01. So that's 4.5 over 0.99. And I get it's 4.54 repeating, although I don't think it's going to like that answer, so I'm going to change this into a fraction here. And I have the button on my calculator to do that, so it's going to come out to 50 over 11. If you don't have the button on your calculator, what you can do here instead is you can actually move the decimal on the top and bottom over. So I'd have to move it the same, so it'd have to be 450 over 99. And then I would just reduce it from there, so I would divide both of these by 9. And that would give me that 50 over 11. So that's what I'm going to put there for my answer. All right, next up here we have non-infinite sum. So you could just plug these in and add them up. It's not that many numbers, but we did learn the formula today for these finite sums is for geometric, which I can tell because this is exponential, is a1 times 1 minus r to the power of n over 1 minus r. So I can see here a sub 1, I would just plug in the 1 since this isn't like a form we're super comfortable with, so I see it's 3. Obviously r is 3 since that's the base of the exponent, and then n is going to be 10 in this case since that's that top number since we're starting at 1. And so I could say the sum is a1 times 1 minus r to the power of n over 1 minus r. I'm just going to type this in the calculator. I just need extra parentheses for the adding and subtracting in the numerator and denominator. So 3 times 1 minus 3 to the 10th divided by parentheses 1 minus 3. And I get 88572. All right, next up here, number 8. So it says that the yearly depreciation is 55%. Its value at the beginning of the year. The original cost is $20,000. What is its value after 6 years? So it's kind of giving me some information here. First of all, it's the original cost. So I'm going to call this a sub 0 is 20,000. Because that's when we first buy it after no time has passed. And then this one's giving us a hint on r here. However, r is not 55% or 0.55. Since it's depreciation, that's a decrease. So that's as compared to 1. So anytime you see that a percentage as compared to a previous year, you actually have to subtract that from 1. So I'm going to say r is actually 0.45. So because 55% is going away, it's like there's 45% left over. So then I'm going to say a sub n equals 20,000 times 0.45 to the power of n. Since I have my a sub 0 up here, my exponent is just n. So then for 6 years later, I got 20,000 times 0.45 to the power of 6. I type that in my calculator, and it does say round to the nearest cent, so I'm going to say 166.08 is going to be my answer for that one. All right, here they are kind of giving us this complicated formula, and we're just going to use it here. They define what it is up there if you really care about it, but I'm just going to use the formula. So they start off by saying that n equals 5, and I see that this is a sub k. So what that tells me is that these numbers up here are actually k values. I'm going to be plugging this in for k. So what am I going to be plugging in for n? Well, I'm going to be plugging in 5 for n just because it says that. So I'm going to kind of rewrite this formula to say a sub k equals 2 over 5 times 1 minus 2 over 5 to the power of k minus 1. So then when it comes to a sub 1, it's going to be 2 over 5 times 1 minus 2/5 to the power of 0. Because it's the 1 minus 1 that I plugged in there for k. So that's going to make that whole kind of parentheses turn into 1. So that answer is just going to be left with 2/5. So then for a sub 2, same idea, just 2/5 times 1 minus 2 over 5 to the power of 1 now. And I would honestly just type that into a calculator at this point. You could do it by hand, but when we get to the later ones, you're not going to be able to. So I would kind of assume that this is a calculator question. And so this comes out to 0.24, or the fraction equivalent is fine. And so just keep going down that list here and do the same thing for the rest of those a subs. Okay, so then next up here, it asks me to find r and s sub 5. So what I'm going to do here, first to find r, I'm just going to do a2 over a1 since I already know those. And I'm going to do decimal forms on both of those, so 0.24 divided by 0.4, which is 2.5, or which is 2 over 5, that's 0.4, so that's why I'm using that. And this comes out to 0.6 for r. And so that allows me to find the sum of the first 5 terms by using my formula here that we used last one, a1 times 1 minus r to the n over 1 minus r. So that would be a sub 1 is 0.4 times 1 minus 0.6 to the power of 5 over 1 minus 0.6. And then I need my extra parentheses in the numerator and denominator. So we get 0.4, 1 minus 0.6 to the power of 5, divided by 1 minus 0.6. Oh, I got to do parentheses there. And that'll give me 0.92224. All right, and then last step here for question C. This one asks you if the initial value was 475, how much is it depreciated after 2 years? So 2 years is referring to a sub 2 here. So it's saying it depreciated by 24%. But remember what I said on the last question, that if it's actually depreciating, what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply that initial value by 1 minus 0.24. And so if I do that, kind of take my answer from number 2, from a sub 2, subtract it from 1, and multiply it by the value of this asset, that's going to give you your answer, which for this case is 361,000. All right, next up here it says we got a bacteria with 800 bacteria, and it doubles in size. So it's initially 800, so that's at day 0. So then at day 1, it's going to be 1600, and then 3200, and then 6400. So then our formula for this, I know that r is 2 because it's doubling every time. And then I know that I would use my a sub 0 version, so I could say 800 times 2 to the power of n. If you wanted to use the a sub 1 version, you could say 1600 times 2 to the power of n minus 1, and that would work as well. All right, next up here we need to find the sum, and this is actually neither arithmetic nor geometric, so I can't use either of those formulas. It's actually quadratic, which doesn't fit into either of those categories. So for this one, I'm just going to have to plug and chug here. So I'm going to have to do all of these first 4 terms and just add them all up. So here we go. So this is -8, -5, 0, and 7. So if I add all those up, that would be -6. All right, this one again is actually neither arithmetic nor geometric, so I cannot use my sum formulas. I'm just going to have to plug and chug here. And what I notice is there's nowhere to plug in k, so how this sequence would look is the first term is just 145 coming from right here. And then the second term is 145 as well, since there's nowhere to plug in these k values. And I would just do this. That would be a sub 1, this would be a sub 2, and I would just keep doing that until I got to a sub 145, which is the number up top. So all of these are 145. It's like I have 145 of 145. So I would just multiply those together since that's just the quicker way to add that many up. And that's going to be 21025 for me. All right, next up here looks like we have a recursively defined sequence. And so what it's saying is that we have our first term at 136, and then the next term is 1/2 times the previous term. So when I have a sub 2, that's going to be 1/2 times a sub 1. So it's going to be 1/2 times 136. And that is 68. And so then for a sub 3, that's going to be 1/2 times a sub 2. So 1/2 times 68, which will be 34. So I'll let you guys keep going with that list. All right, next up here, we're switching to an arithmetic sequence, and it is a summation here. So our summation for arithmetic is the n over 2 plus the first number, or sorry, times the first number plus the last number. So I have some of this information. I know that I have 30 numbers here. I know that the first one's 39, but I don't really know the last one. So I need to write my y equals mx plus b here. So I know that the common difference is -5. And I need to figure out what's a sub 0. So if I have 39 here, oops, that's not 39 is a sub 1. And I know that the difference is -5, so that's going to be 34 for a sub 2. That would mean a sub 0 would be 44. So I can say a sub n equals -5n plus 44. And then I can go ahead and, since I want to know the 30th term, since that's going to be the last term, I'll just plug in my 30. So -150 plus 44 is -106. And so that'll go there. So now I can just do 15 times -67. I'll go ahead and use the calculator for that. So it's -1005. All right, next up here, we want to express this in summation notation. I notice that the pattern here is plus 3, plus 3. So since the pattern is constant adding, I know it's arithmetic. And so it's going to be a sub n equals dn plus a sub 0, kind of our mx plus b formula. I know that the common difference there is 3. All right, now I need to figure out a sub 0. I know that this first term is a sub 1 since we're starting with 1 there. So the term in front of that, if I kind of subtracted 3, going the other way, would be -2. So that's my formula, 3n minus 2. Now the last thing I need to know is which term is this last number. It's a sub what? So I don't put 178 up there. What I need to do then is plug in 178 into my formula. And so I need to solve this. So 60 is n, and so that means that is actually the 60th term.